Very good. Hey, welcome back. Cruising with Phil, second part two, with my special guest from Lisbon, Portugal. I'm honored to have Arina and Ricardo Moreira. I say it right.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome back. Just before we go on, I just want to ask you, finish off with the housing in Helsinki and the homelessness. What is it? I was gonna ask you, why did the other cities copy what Helsinki has been doing and successful? What's the hesitancy of not doing the same thing they're doing, reducing 80% homelessness down that we're not doing over here or any parts of the world? And why is Helsinki is the only city that does it?
Well, I really think, and that's what the reports and the science says, that if you give people a home, then they structure their lives around homes. So like I told you before, it seems really candid, and it seems like, well, this guy is not showing the trick, but we are. Giving a people a home without conditions is the first step to end homelessness.
Yeah.
And because then you can treat the specific problem that people have, those people have, and you have to custom made it. But it has to start from them. It's they need to want to treat their addiction, for instance.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in Helsinki, and they're really the only country in the world that's reducing homelessness. The rest of the countries in the world, it's increasing. It's a crisis, and well, there are different crises in homelessness. Well, there are countries in the world where homelessness is a phenomenon created by lack of homes. That is true, and that happens in Portugal too. But people that live in rough many times have addictions and many times have mental problems, and most of the times there are male, and you have to take that into account, and you have to custom make the program for those people.
For the people, right?
It starts with a home.
Exactly. It can't be just a general, one rule for everybody. It's not the same, right? Like I know some people here, some people in shelters. And what they always talk about is the bed shack. I don't know if you have it over there. Like they have a shelter for the night, but every so many hours the door opens up. They're getting disturbed by their peace, and they're bothered. It's a lack of trust. And that's where the hostility increases, right? I don't know if they have that over
Yeah.
there, but
We did.
constant supervision and all that.
We did, but it ended. It ended with COVID, because with COVID, people that were in shelters, well, it was the same as there. When you had to enter by X time in the night, and you had to leave at X time in the night, X time in the day, in the morning, and people had nothing to do. And now with COVID, they had to keep the people there, and they had to do programs with them. So even in the shelters here in Lisbon, it changed. And now they have one thing called co-ives, which doesn't really matter, which means that it's a shelter even during the day. And people learn how to do crafts, or how to learn how to talk Portuguese, because some people are migrants. And oddly enough, or not oddly enough, people are getting a lot better.
And they have access to things that they didn't for all the time they've been in the streets, like healthcare, like to have a checkup and see how they're doing, and finding that they have, some sort of cancer. Because, the reason why they go to urinate so many times during the night, it's because of such and such, and they have access to programs from the unemployment center, which empowers them with the work aspect. And after that, maybe they can go out and seek maybe a job. If they get the house as well, then they have, because you always have two types of people. You have people that are never going to be inserted in terms of work, because they have some type of incapability, or they have a very strong mental disability of mental illness. And so those people need a house as well.
Yeah.
And I think your question was, why aren't countries or cities adopting this type of? I think they're lacking a vision about. I think they think too much about the economics, and they tend to neglect people that don't contribute on the norm, and so they forget that they spend a lot of money with having people without a home as well. It's not like they never go to the hospital. It's not like they don't have crisis. It's not like they don't ask for something. And so there are better ways of putting that money, of using that money, like giving a house to a person and see if they can start working on them and benefit them so that they can come back to us, sorry, to have some type of participation in the social aspect of it.
It's all about dignity. Treat a person with dignity.
Of course it is.
Everybody is dignified. They can vote. They're a person. They are a person. They're people. People also forget when you see people on the streets. Like I know people on the streets who are CEOs from major companies live on the streets. I say don't judge people by they look, and also take in consideration where they came, how they got there. Not a case of there, how they got there, and how can we get them out of there with their choice. It's all about choice. I don't know if you watched our news over here. We had major problems with some of the tents, homeless set up tents in the some of the major public parks, and they brought the police in. They cleared them out. It was very violent, very volatile. It's just unnecessary because they weren't given a choice. They were given a choice. They were just given ultimatums, right? Like you said about dignity, treat them as people, give them a choice. You want to go to a home or you want to move somewhere else. That choice was not given. That created a lot of friction in the last few years with the city. The gap is between the rich and the poor, or not the poor, regular people like us working, right? And that's where the missing thing is in City Hall. Many years, where you make good money, like you said about the whites, we had that year. They make good money, they're comfortable, they like the cars, they go home, but they can't relate with us where the dollar goes. I talked about the many debates we were at. You can't relate unless you're poor, unless you got an addiction, you got a problem. You cannot relate. You can only look at stats, read articles, talk to locals, but you're only getting the general appearance of what they say. You don't know what's inside the person. So unless you've been in that situation, that's where they're lacking in City Hall. Getting people, I don't know over here, but getting people that come from that was like, I know a lady, she had an addiction. She now is a major counselor at Montreal. She had a major addiction for 15 years. She now counsels at City Hall in Montreal. And she showed her process. That's where she's a person before. And she used to be a teacher before she got on the streets. So it's a whole process. It never ends when you just put people there. Like you said, you can't just leave them there. You can't just say, "You're okay, fend for yourself." You gotta show you care.
Ricardo always uses this type of comparison, which is we are a lot closer to a homeless person than we are to a CEO. Yeah. I am a lot closer. Like I was looking at the statistics the other day, and 40% of Portugal, 40% of people of Portugal are in risk of poverty before they get their pensions and their benefits, and that's what changes their economic situation of 40% of the people in Portugal, which means that people are poor even working, and a lack of a paycheck 1 month can throw them to the street.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it doesn't take much to, we're not that far from someone who's in the street. So yes, we should build people in that situation a bit more, and cherish them more.
Yeah. It's just like take that lack of trust up, put that trust in the people. Like during the election, I had a lot of people talking to me on emails, a lot of I don't believe the city, you're not gonna help me, I don't give a damn what you say or what you're gonna do or what you're gonna try, I'm watching your election, and it's kind of disappointing, but it's also kind of sad because like I asked myself how they got to be like that. They have no trust in the people of the city that's running for even election. They said not gonna make a difference, and it's sad to say that, right? Because we know like this election this last year, a lot of people that ran, like I got to level 40 the candidates online and in person, and a lot of them just care with their hearts. They want to help the city. They want to do things for, and they all got backgrounds in community service. That's the thing, lack of community service. If you have not participated in a community or been part of something bigger than that, then you can't relate. It's all a case of
Yeah.
experience, right? So I want to
Yeah.
move on to transportation. That's the big thing I want to talk about too. With something we're running over years, they want to get free transit. I saw your video about that. I was gonna ask you, how did that? What city was it? Brussels?
No, no, it was Luxembourg.
Luxembourg. How did they get to free transit for the public? It's been like for a couple years now, right?
Well, it started 2 years ago in March, and they say that it's a day as important as the man going to the moon. So that's how much of a bang they wanted to do with that public measure, and it was incredible. I was able to interview the ministry that did that public policy, and what he told us was that actually the transportation being free, it's just the icing on the cake, and the cake is actually investment in public transportation. So Luxembourg is a very small country in the middle of Europe, and they have big wages, but most of the people, and they have a housing crisis too. Houses are very, very expensive. Yeah. So people commute from Belgium, France, and all the other countries around Luxembourg. And there's an enormous Portuguese community in Luxembourg. Almost 20% of the people are Portuguese, or their parents are Portuguese. So we went there to see what's happening there. And they were able to invest brutally in connecting the modals in terms of, well, they've changed their minds. The ministry says that for 70 years we planned our cities with a tunnel view, and we wanted to move cars. And if you throw that away and you think about moving people, it becomes much easier. And so what he wanted to do was to connect the tram with the train, and the train with the escalator, and the escalator with the bike, and the bike with an autonomous, auto-driven, without a driver, bus. And to do that, all of that, and to promote public transportation, he said, well, we did all this investment, so it might as well be free. And so he built lots of parking spots, of parking places around the city, where people can leave their cars and then take the bus or take the tram or take the train to the city to work and then go back. Wow. So the transformation is enormous. But there's more than 100 cities all over the world that have free public transportation, and Lisbon just became one of those cities last year. Oh, really? And I would like to think it was because of the example we gave with the documentary. We hope so. That's or great. At least that we gave a little smell of it to the people in Lisbon. And now people, the younger people and the elderly, don't pay public transportation in Lisbon. Yeah. And it has been very different. But there's a trick. What's the trick? If you want to cut cars, free public transportation does not do that at all, because it's a free rider situation. You take cars from the street, because some people don't use the car and go to the buses and the train and the public transportation because it's free, and it increases the number of people that use public transportation, sometimes in some cities tenfold. It's no joke, it's really important. But then you get the streets, because the streets are no longer so busy. Other people get their cars and fill the streets with cars.
People who didn't used to use the car start using the car.
Car again, yeah.
So if you have the carrot, wait.
Lost a minute. Are you still there?
Sorry,
yeah, that's all right.
If you have the carrot, which is free public transportation, you really need to have a stick too. And that stick means you have to reduce the number of lanes you have with cars.
That's
Let
what
me
bikes
just
and all.
get my children here.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry, you'll need
that's
to
all right.
cut this bit.
All right. Get your look
Nina,
at it.
posso ligar daqui bocadinho? Elas vão para a cama agora. Ah, então dá-lhe só beijinho que eu estou aqui a meio de uma entrevista, pode ser? Beijinhos, até já.
Sorry.
That's all right. Is that your daughter?
Yeah, it's fine. So that's the main thing we found in Luxembourg. You have to have good public transportation that leads everybody everywhere and that is well connected. And this is really important. And most cities fail doing this. They don't interconnect several transportations. And then if you got this, it can be free. And if you got this, you need to limit the number of lanes and the number of the amount of public space you give to cars. And if you do all of this, you will have a cleaner, more healthy, more pleasant city. And this is the trick that we saw in Luxembourg, and it was amazing.
Wow.
It was much different.
What was the time difference between when they started the program and like to current now? Like,
well, when we went there, it was really hard to see that difference because we were in the middle of the COVID crisis. So there were no people on the streets, but they had some data from the previous months before COVID, and it increased almost 20% in the first few months. And I'm eager to see the statistics now because now it's normalizing. Here in Lisbon, we are now, in the end of 2022, we are now having the same amount of people using public transportation as we did in 2019. So it only now we can compare. And I'm eager to see the comparison in Luxembourg.
amazing. Wow. So I asked you, how long did that shit, the 5 videos you made, how long did they take you to do that? Like from what time period?
Weeks, because since we didn't had a budget, right? We didn't had no money.
That's the best way.
I'm a magician. I'm not a producer. I'm a magician. So I sent Ricardo with a friend and colleague of ours the first time to do Helsinki, Barcelona, and Helsinki and Barcelona, and then the second time, and that was in a week. And then the second time it was Brussels, Luxembourg, and Berlin. And that was like 8-9 days, maybe.
That's it. Wow.
So, yeah.
With couch surfing and everything. We slept wherever we could.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, that's great. I like all your visuals when you had all the stats. Each city you went to, you showed about. That's me. Like that makes a big difference when you see that. You know, the visuals and all. Were you expecting this kind of response from Toronto when when I asked you to sign on for the interview?
I'm sorry?
Were you expecting a quick response from Toronto when when you put your videos on the Twitter and I saw it right away?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm really sorry, but we are crazy with work, and we didn't have the time to accompany it. But we will once after this interview. We will see what's the buzz.
It was like 2 days ago. Ricardo was talking to me and said, I think it was 2 days ago, and said, we're doing a podcast to Canada. And I said, why? Why are we doing a podcast? And he said, they saw our episodes. And I got, no, there's no way Canada saw nothing. There's no way. And then suddenly we were doing, I don't know what, about an hour ago. And it showed up the Canada calendar. And so here we are. I'm amazed that you guys saw it.
Well, when you put on you had it on the tweet. That's where I first saw your first video.
Yeah, but it's like it's a homemade thing. I know it's very professional because we put the big amount of money on the post-production, and so we had a beautiful team editing it and doing the coloring and the sound and the everything. But what we do have is loads of study so that we don't get you the wrong message or numbers. Ricardo is a great news reporter, I think. And someone after him, chasing him while he was running in Barcelona, playing around, to get all of that. But it's amazing. It's the most. It's a privilege when someone gets to tell you, you know, I saw your work. I like it. I want to talk to you about it, isn't it?
Well, you got a big response from Toronto. I got tons of people want to. I said, I'm trying to get a video. I'm going to interview you guys. I said, really? Let us know when you're going to do the interview. I said, that's amazing. Well, I went on your. I saw your website. I saw your tweet. So I went on the website and I saw your. I translated, said urban planner and all that. I went, okay, let me go check the videos. I was like, what? I honestly, I thought you like spent like thousands of dollars on the whole production. I was like, wow. I couldn't believe
You know,
it.
my job was to produce political campaigns.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
I should have come
I'm
over
really
here. Would help me.
I'm really creative with money.
That's crazy. How'd you come up with the the beginning of each one of your videos, you have a visual like the art as a greenery that has a concrete. Who came up with that idea? I like the whole beginning of it.
We contracted that's it. We contracted the most fitted person for
It's incredible.
for the
We are
graphics.
very, very lucky. We have the greatest friends that
Yeah.
that wanted to come with us in this adventure and to do this with us. So they got paid not as much as that
We would
work
like, yeah.
transpires, and it's just out of love. What
Have
we
you had
can
a lot
tell
of
you is,
like that's amazing. Have you had a lot of response from other parts of the Europe about it?
well,
Yeah.
we did, and we went not on tour, but it has been shown everywhere around Portugal, and it has been shown in other places in Europe, and we really love it because we're showcasing the best that we know, and we're on edge because we wanted to do a second tour because we have new examples to give and we want to discuss.
So it's just ongoing. You should have put Arina in your videos. I didn't know. It's like a surprise when he came on. I was like, what? Oh, extra guest.
No, but you know, you never get to see the producers. You never
No,
get to
no.
see the sound engineers. What's different here is, you know, it's I can talk about it. I can talk about all the aspects of what we did because I'm studying it. And I think it's a good practice to bring your team up to these type of events, right? Because
I was thinking
although
mainly, yeah, I love to be. My thing is I like behind the scenes, not what you put up front, like Ricardo,
yeah,
nice looking guy doing the videos. Then you see what's behind. Who put him there? Who did all this work? I like that's my thing. I
yeah.
love it. That's what I like. I'm so glad you came on the show just to hear the whole story and how you started and all that. So
Thank
we'll
you
move
for
to
having.
oh, it's great. We'll move on to agriculture, about the gardens. That was something I really love.
Yeah.
That's something when I
Yeah.
want to do during my election, I want to do community gardening. Like in Montreal, they have the government gives like I want to do like give them little startup programs, startup seed programs for fruits, vegetables, grow the garden, sell locally their own, and also make a website with local restaurants, businesses where they can cater to local. They can have a website. They can come and they can participate. If they have everything available in the gardens, they can sell, make money for themselves. Keep it local, like you said in the video. Keep it fresh. Keep it near the city. In the city, that's the best part. Like imported stuff just does not last.
well, and Brussels is a great example because what they're doing is, well, what they're doing is revolutionary in several ways. They first, the goal that they have, they want to eat in Brussels almost a quarter of what they eat. They want to produce in the city of Brussels, and that is an amazing goal that nobody has.
No,
And
that's amazing. I just blew me. I saw it, blew me away. I was like, wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
that figure is incredible. And what they're doing is very clever because they understand that now we have no roots to the land. People don't know how to produce. Some people do want to do it, and some people would like to do it, but it's an enormous investment, right? You have to change your life completely, turn it the other way around, learn a lot of stuff that you like, but you don't know how, you don't have the time to dedicate to that. And so what they've done is a simple idea. So the city delivers the land, gives you the land, and gives you the tools, and gives you the expertise. They show you how to do it, and they give you a little pocket money so you can try. And you, for 2 years, for a year, 2 years, you can try your business model. So some people just go and try and do organic farming. That's great. And they were able to do it. And other people, they would like to cultivate flowers to eat in salads. And so they were able to do it. And so everybody tries their business model and enables a chain of to the consumers. And after everything is set and you know what you're doing and you've experimented, then you are able to do it soundly, and you are able to do it solid rock. And that's the trick with Brussels. That's what they're doing. That's different. There's a lot of other countries that are doing it. Here in Lisbon, we have like you can cultivate some parts of the land that are from the municipality, but it's on your own expense. It's like survival. It's for your family. But if you want to do a business within the city to try and feed the city, you can't in Lisbon. That's impossible. And it's really important that we should do that, because the way that we're living now, it's unsustainable. We can't eat bananas that come from the other part of the world in an airplane. It is impossible. Yeah. And we need to eat fresh food from that part of the year, right? From that season. That's really important. Yeah. And we've lost that. Now we have bananas and apples and carrots, tomatoes all year, and it shouldn't be like that. And it's taking a huge toll on the environment, and we're now going to pay for it. So we're on the 27 COP, right? With all the countries saying that we need to do something different about the environment and about green gas emissions, and food is an essential part of it. And we need to produce locally, and we need to eat from that season. And that's the big change, the game changer that Brussels is doing. And they're even occupying the ceilings of buildings. It's incredible.
I saw that. Amazing. Yeah.
The huge transportations that you have from things that you can most probably replace or even farm in your own district, you know, it's possible. Brussels, it's Brussels. It's possible.
Like right around the corner. Yeah, I mean, like I was gonna ask you, with the amount of food growing locally now, have they decreased starvation a bit from putting back in the city?
Well, not really. If you think about poverty, you have to do you have to split between two kinds of poverty. To give you an example, on the elderly, if you have an elder that's living in a city, well, he has that pension, and that's the money that he has for that month, right? So if that elderly person is in poverty, he will be in poverty forever. But if you have the same amount of money and you give it to somebody that lives in a rural area, he's able to farm his own food. So that pension, it goes way further, right? He has more money available, and he doesn't live in such great poverty as the other person living in a city. So if we are able to do this, we are able to reduce poverty, not to take people out of poverty, but to reduce the intensity of poverty. And that's really important. That's not something to frown about. It's important to reduce the intensity of poverty. We would like to eliminate poverty, of course. It's about dignity, and we should not have any poor people. But if we can, just with this little policy, to reduce the intensity of poverty, it's enormous.
I mean, I'm going to ask a question. Got about 5 minutes left. My question is to both of you: what's the next big thing you want to do, contribute back to the society? You've done transportation, you've done agriculture, homelessness, housing. What's the next subject you want to tackle? What are you into right now?
We were about to do the Impossible Cities, but in Portugal, and show how you can have, let's say, for example, there's a community solar energy. How do you say "sales" in English? Well, it's an energy community between with renewable energy with solar panels between a school and a neighborhood, a full neighborhood up at Porto. We were about to visit well, there's a city here in one of the districts up north where all the kids from that school use their bicycle, which is something that in Portugal it's not very kids get driven to school everywhere.
Yeah, like
even in the interior part of Portugal, the kids just are driving to school. And so there's a school up in one district where they teach the kids how to ride a bicycle and to use it to do their own transportation from home to the school. And there's a lot of other examples if we think micro in Portugal. And actually, we had to reduce, I think Ricardo had something like 12 or 15 cities.
Ideas.
Yeah, that we wanted to use. But then the budget reality hit, and we had to do only 5 of them. But the thing about cities is that they don't change as much as we think, because once you construct a building or street, there's no way it's going to change. But the politics are always changing, right? And so from a year now, we could have totally different episodes, I would say.
Wow.
So that's about it. And we are sure that you feel, and the people that are listening to this podcast know a lot of new examples that we don't know about and that we would love to know about. So please write us, send us ideas. We love to discuss that. That's really our goal right now. So we are very, very happy to be with you today.
And just sharing back and forth. People are going to watch this, they're going to learn a lot of those examples. Maybe take something out of the brain and say, hey, I got an idea from Ricardo and Arina.
Please.
And do that. Look, about 2 minutes, I'm going to cut off before everyone to say thank you so much for doing this interview. I really I'm so appreciative. And I was surprised I got it so fast. I just sent him a little message. Hey, you want to do an interview? And he said, let's do it. But for the new year, I want to hope to do some more with you. It'd be amazing and get more days off you, and because we can only cover so much in so many time frame. But there's so much to discuss. I've seen your videos. I've watched it a few times. I have more questions. So promising in 2023 to do some more interviews with you guys, and if you're getting any praise you, and I'm sure you get a lot of feedback from this after the people watch this. And I just want to say, before I go, I just want to say, what do you guys do for fun before I get cut off? Got 2 minutes left. What do you guys do for leisure? I told you before off camera.
No, we just go to the gym and
get tired
and watch TV and play with our kids. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's great. Family man, that's great.
Boring. We're boring, but we're really keen into cities, so it's our thing.
I love your love for the city. That's people like you, and I hope I think you're gonna inspire a lot of people. You inspired me just watching the videos. So I got 1 minute left. I'm gonna say thank you so much. I'm gonna put the videos and I'm gonna send it through Gmail to you guys. You can put it on, and just want to say from my heart to yours, love you guys. I think you guys are great. I think you're a prime example of what the city needs and what the world needs. And I hope your message gets across to other people from Helsinki and carry on. And this is a continuous journey. It's not gonna end.
Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you so much.
Hope to see you soon.
Oh, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys. And your kids.
Thank you. Thank you to you too.
I did my third day decorations. It took me 3 days to do my decorating. I'm making a video. You'll see why it took so long.
Okay.
I got my nephew coming over first time. So thank you so much. Gonna get cut off here, and I'll send you the videos today as soon as I'm done converting them, and you guys can copy that. And I'm gonna still put your videos on my tweet. So anyway, Merry Christmas, you guys. Love you guys. I think you guys are amazing.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Long distance. Take care and talk to you next year, right?
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.